Championship and this one, and having got to the final of both, that's a remarkable achievement in itself.
Fantastic achievement, and as John Pulman, the great champion, used to say, just play one frame at a time as if it's a final. Just one frame, one frame. That's all he's got to do here, and see if he can change the scoreboard.
Ronnie still on the brink.
And he's faced with a long red. That's not a bad flick on the blue. Seemed to hit that a little harder than he intended. But he had to force it around the back of the black and reds. Just making sure that he's not going to knock a red over the right corner pocket when playing this safety shot. And he's come up a little bit short, and he has knocked a red towards that right corner pocket. Ronnie can get through to the potting angle, but cue ball is going to be difficult. There's a possible gap if he should pot it, but there's not much of a gap to find. He'd have to pot the red if he takes it on. He's not even looking at it. And he didn't find the gap, so might as well have had a go at the pot. Okay, he's not going to be anxious, but he just wants to get this match over and done with. But you still got to win the frame.
One. On my way to the commentary box for this session, I looked in the practice room. Mark Selby was practicing, so to be 9-3 down and still want to be practicing, it shows you how professional he is and how much pride he's got in his performance.
Yeah, he doesn't want to let go of this Masters title. He's won it on 3 occasions, quite a record really. 4 finals in 6 years, 3 wins.
Eight.
It's not hard enough for the red he intended. He's got the one into the right corner, but just means he's got a slightly more difficult positional shot. Has to play this with topspin, back up towards the blue and pink.
11.
It's a tricky one he's faced with now. He didn't catch that cannon
17.
correctly.
Mark Selby, 17.
Now there is a red he can take on, and he can get the white through the gap of those 4 reds. You wouldn't think it, but he can. Well, he thought he could. Might have covered everything into the right corner. Yeah. The other one might just pass. Just enough room for that. So one good positional shot, and Ronnie could give himself a chance that he's been patiently waiting for.
One.
Yeah, sure. That was a nice positional shot there. Could have easily gone up for the pink, but got plenty of grab on the cue ball there. Really struck that well.
Yeah, he's given it every care and attention here. He knows the importance of this shot. Not so much the pot, it's getting the cue ball exactly where he wants. Not bad. There's a slight angle. He can roll this red into the right corner and get himself onto the black.
Eight. Nine.
Well, the chances there now. Some of his break building this week has been outstanding. It really has.
16.
Even from awkward positions, he's managed to clear up.
$17.
And there's Ronnie's children, Lily and Ronnie
24.
Jr. Well, how proud are they going to be if their dad can clear up here?
25.
Got one more red into a potable position, so this is now turning into a good chance to finish this match off.
33.
Wobbled that a little bit. Yeah, this packed audience thought they were in for a very early night, as we show you the black wobble again, but Mark
40.
Selby did make a fight of it.
41.
But 8-1 behind, it was an awful long way back. And he knew he just couldn't make any more mistakes.
$48. $49.
Those reds are not too badly placed. In fact, if you can roll the black in and just cannon the top red of the three, it'd be absolutely perfect. Well, didn't matter as long as he got anywhere in between them.
56.
Quick glance at the scoreboard to see what he needs in his match against Stephen Maguire. He clinched that final frame with a century break.
64.
He'll not be too bothered about a century. He'll just want enough to win the match. The defending champion has put up a great defense here, but he's ran up against an unbelievable player, and Ronnie O'Sullivan, playing some of the best snooker of his career.
Yeah, 7 frames he's lost this week.
65.
It's pretty impressive.
Mark Selby feels that this is the
72.
end. This will be 5 Masters titles. Just, well, it's not quite over yet.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 72.
Mark coming to the table, but he's got an awful lot of work to do.
1.
But the way the blue and brown are, they're perfectly placed for snookers. And what about that for a shot? He's a bit unlucky there.
8.
There you see it, 47 behind, possible 43 on the table, so just 1 snooker to tie at the moment. And as I said, the brown and blue are in a pretty good position. Not quite hard enough.
Mark Selby, 8.
Bit of a chance here to get us in behind those colours. time a bit too hard. And this red might go close to the opposite corner pocket as he doubles it across, playing a safety shot. Well, he's doubled it. I thought for a moment it was going to go over the right corner, but that's fine. Got to be a little bit careful, Ronnie, here, because it's just one snooker to tie needed. I think he can get past the green. There you can clearly see this is match ball, you would feel.
One.
Well, Mark Selby, you put up a fantastic defence of your Masters title, but this crowd at the Alexandra Palace erupting. Their favourite son is about to lift his 5th title. Mark Selby comes forward and congratulates Ronnie O'Sullivan. He has been absolutely awesome all week, and he gets a standing ovation from this fantastic crowd at the Ali Palace. And Ronnie O'Sullivan is the Dapperbet Masters champion 2014. He wins 10 frames to 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a fantastic final. Wonderful performance from Ronnie O'Sullivan, but first let me grab a word with our gallant runner-up here, Mark. You slowed him up a little bit tonight, but you left yourself with just too much to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Ronnie started off great the first 3 frames. Had a couple of shots at a few long balls, didn't really get them, and obviously Ronnie's like fantastic at taking his chances. And for the first 3 frames, he played fantastic. I had a good chance in the 4th frame. If I come out at the interval 3-1, I'm still off in the match, but obviously when Ronnie's in front, he just seems to steamroll you.
How would you rate that performance from Ronnie today, Mark?
Yeah, I thought first session he was very, very good. Like I say, every time he got a chance, he more or less like won the frame in one visit. If not, he made a good 50 or 60 and put me under pressure. And the damage was done really in the first session. I mean, obviously when you're playing somebody like Ronnie, you need to be on top of your game from the word go, and I wasn't.
Well, I know you're going to take this on the chin, but ladies and gentlemen, a 5th Masters final in 7 years. That is some going. Congratulations and commiserations to Mark Selby. And we've got a family reunion here. We've got Lily and we've got Ronnie Jr. And I wonder, Ronnie, a 5th title in the Masters. You waited 5 years for this one. How special is it to have these 2 lovely people here to watch you do it?
Yeah, no, just want to congratulate Mark on a brilliant tournament. He's the most consistent player on the circuit, along with Neil and Ding. So he's had a great tournament, and I'm just pleased to have won, and these 2 being here as well, and all my friends being here, and it's just a miracle, really. I don't know how I've won it this week, to be fair.
It's been one of the most emphatic performances we've ever seen at the Masters here. How would you rate this achievement in your career, Ronnie?
Well, I mean, all wins are good, but coming into this week, I wasn't sure, how I was going to perform and all that, but I played well. I didn't drop many frames, and playing Mark, it doesn't matter how well you play, you always expect that he's going to take you all the way, And the scary thing is, sometimes the worst thing you can do is build a lead up against him, because he just loves coming from behind, and I'm like, oh no, I don't know what the score is at the interval, 7-1, but you still don't feel like you're anywhere near the winning line, whereas 99 points behind the other players, they'd give up, but he's made of metal,
He is indeed, and when you think back 12 months ago, you weren't here, and I wonder just how important this Masters event.
I enjoyed it better last year, watching it on the telly. I mean, this is hard work.
Well, you didn't make it look like hard work, I'd say, but was this tournament a catalyst in the decision to come back for the World Championships last year?
Well, their school fees was one. It's their fault while I'm playing. No, yeah, because I hadn't been to no tournaments, and I was quite enjoying not being in playing and competing, and then my friend Chick, who come down, I had to come and pick him up, and I see all the tournament staff and I see all the players, and I just thought, I do miss it, and I don't miss the stress, but I miss just being amongst the lads, and being on the tour.
Well, you always get fantastic support here in London. There's always one, and happily he had to go, but what sort of support have you had, and how much have you thrived on that this week?
Yeah, I mean, they're brilliant here, they're very, you know, loud and get involved. You know, they're, you know, we have, you know, so and they support all the players well, really. You know, every player loves playing in London. You know, it's a fantastic atmosphere, and you know, we should have a few more. It's easier for me because I ain't got to drive so far as well.
Well, you've done the duty tonight. It is a school night, and it's not too late for these guys to get back home. Well done, Ronnie. Ladies and gentlemen, your champion, the Rocket, the master again, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the presentation party. Barry Hearn, Chairman of World Snooker, and from Dapperbet, Director of Gaming Martin Elliott, and the Head of Marketing, John Cruces. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, your runner-up. What a run to the final. Receiving the medal and a cheque for £90,000. Give it up for Mark Selby. And the winner, receiving a cheque for £200,000, the trophy and the title, Dapperbet Masters Champion 2014, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan. Your champion, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
So a 5th Masters title for O'Sullivan in a record 10th final in this Dapperbet Masters. And, you know, from what we've seen, Steve and John here in the studio, what more can we expect from him this year if that's the kind of form that he's going to be able to produce constantly?
Well, I think we can expect that he's going to be a force to be reckoned with at the World Championship, and there is still a gap between him and the other players in the game, even though there are some brilliant players around.
You know, and it does make you think that he's 38 years of age. He's still the preeminent player in this particular sport. And it's all the more remarkable because at that age, one would expect him to be declining in his powers at this point.
There's absolutely no doubt that his running and his fitness regime is a massive help in all of that. But the boy's a genius. I mean, he's a cut above everybody else. When he plays at his best, he is a long way clear of everybody else at his best. That's not to say he's not unbeatable, because you can't keep producing that standard all the time. But when he does, and he produces his best, he is a cut above everybody else.
He is indeed, and it's great to see Lily and Ronnie Jr. here. The last time we saw Lily, I believe, was, a good 5 years ago. She was just a little tot running around a snooker table at that point. So, well, there we go. Overall, how would you rate this Masters in comparison to some of the years we've sat here and enjoyed it?
Well, you know, considering the fact that we expect brilliance from all the players these days, I think it's been a fascinating tournament for comebacks, for close finishes, and I think the general standard has been very entertaining. I mean, perhaps we've seen better, perhaps we've seen worse, but entertaining this week, I think.
I talked about Mark Selby taking it on the chin. What will he take out of this defence of his title that's fallen at the final hurdle?
He'll be more determined. He'll be more determined because you know he's going to be playing Ronnie O'Sullivan somewhere along the line, and he'll be determined to get a better start than he got today. He said it himself. He was very professional, very honest, took it on the chin, and he'll go away and he'll work on things. I mean, he was 9-3 down and still practising, so that's the type of character he is. I mean, I can remember this chap getting beaten in the final in Canada, and he was practising the next morning before the flight home. So the two champions, that's what they do. They come back for more, and he will certainly do that.
He's certainly not done this season, I'm sure, as well. OK, so O'Sullivan makes an early bid for Sports Personality of the Year. Let's be honest, he's in the running for that every single year. And in fact, he's going to make a bid for 3 world titles in a row in April, because that's when we'll be back on the air. He won it back-to-back last May, but he goes to the Crucible as the double defending champion and starts out in his opening match on Saturday the 19th